Hey guys, Matt Alessi here. Today's the day we're going to finally install the Thuren suspension system on the 2nd gen Dodge Ram. So here's the other part of the suspension that I'm putting on. It is Thuren's Xtra soft coil springs. On my truck, which is a 2001 Dodge Ram 2500, it says on the website it'll be about 2¼ inches of lift over stock. Now I had the 2-inch spacers in there for almost as long as I've owned it. I maybe drove it stock for 2 months, and then I put the leveling blocks in it. This is all in an attempt to just make the truck ride a little bit smoother. The roads are terrible, and every pothole, and I feel every relief cut in the concrete highways. It's getting old. So what I also needed to get were a couple of the new rubbers that go on the top of the coil spacer, top of the coil springs. Now, I have some in my truck now, obviously, but they're a little dry rotted, so I thought I'm taking it all apart anyway and putting new coils in and putting new shocks in. Let me put some fairly decent, I think they call this an isolator or some piece of rubber. New, obviously anything from Mopar is expensive. These I got off eBay. They're in decent shape. I think they're $25 or something. And then something I couldn't find for the life of me was when you install a coil spacer to leveling kit, it includes the mounting studs to mount the shock tower to. Well, so you get rid of your stock one, and I did this in 2012, 2013. So those are long gone. I don't know where they went, but they're long gone. But when you replace it with a 2-inch taller coil spring, you need something to bolt the shock tower to. So I had to rebuy these. The only aftermarket ones I could find were Moogs, and they looked okay, but they got terrible reviews. Everybody said that the stud either breaks off or it spins in this ring. So I thought, let's just do it right, spend the money, and get OEM ones. So I had to get a new OEM one of that. That kind of hurt. Today we're finally going to install the Thuren suspension system. Includes the Xtra soft coil springs that I got and the King 2.0 IFB shocks that I just restored to make them look better, and I got them rebuilt with new oil and new seals. This is a little bit bigger of a project than I'd wanted to do here in the apartment parking spot, but we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to start off by jacking the truck up, putting some jack stands under the frame, enough to droop the front suspension down to get the 2-inch leveling block out. Then we should be able to just pull the coils right out. I did buy a spring compressor just in case to get the leveling block in. I did use it. I'm going to maybe unhook a little bit more things to get the suspension down a little bit lower. We're going to loosen the control arms. We're going to undo the track bar. We're going to undo the sway bar, and that should get it pretty low. Then if we have to undo some steering components, we'll do that as well.
Let me show you how we do it in the pros.
So now we're going to work on undoing the top of the shock mounts and the shock tower bolts right there. I'm going to try and pull the shock out from the bottom with the coil and then maybe not have to take off the towers. We'll see. I'm going to see if that works. If not, we'll do it the other way. Take the tower off, stick it all on the top. So I got the top shock bolt off, but I definitely do have to take the towers, undo the towers, because they are hooked into the leveling kit. I forgot. So I got to take those out anyway and then put the new ring, and I got a new rubber. That rubber's all dry rotted in there. So a couple more things to unbolt, and then we're going to drop the suspension down and see if it goes low enough. Alright, so I lowered it all the way down as much as it'll go off the jack there. It's loose, but I don't think I can go any lower because I'm metal on metal on that control arm to that piece of frame there. So I'm gonna go get the spring compressor and compress the coil a little bit, and this should come right out.
Thousand years later.
There's a little difference. Here's the old one. Here's the new King Thuren. I can barely push it down, and there's no rebound left in this stock one. So I just got the spring compressor off the stock one, and here's the stock on the right versus the Thuren on the left. It looks like you get a little bit more than 2 inches, but it's a softer rate, so it should compress a little bit more. It says about a 2 1/4 inch lift on this year Dodge. So now we're just gonna reverse the process. I'm putting it back in. I put a little rust converter spray stuff in the bottom of the coil pocket there, just to help it a little bit. It was a little bit rusty, so let's get to it.
think that was just that the control arm bushings were completely junk. So the bottle jack in there just helped it down a little bit more and just enough room. So that took a little bit to figure out, but now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side now that I know how to do it. Time to get wrapped up here before dark.
So last night I ran out of sunlight, got dark on me, but I was able to get the front coils in and the front shocks in. I ran into a little bit of an issue where the leveling kit that I had, the studs on it were SAE thread and the stock Mopar stuff is metric thread. So this morning I went out in search of some metric M10 nuts. Was finally able to find them. Both Home Depots I went to were out of stock. But I'm gonna finish up by putting on the shock towers in the front. I gotta bolt up the track bar and just go over everything, make sure everything's torqued, torque the lug nuts, and then I'm gonna also install the rear shocks. Go. Shocks and coils are officially in and tight. Plenty of the silver stuff going back in. I don't know if it was a little bit on when I first put this together, but I'm gonna add a bunch more because it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. They were still a little tough getting off. So. So this exhaust bracket, hanger bracket right here, is a little bit rustier than everything else. Everything else is in good shape, but I'm gonna take this off, wire brush it down, and give it a quick coat of paint. So I'm gonna extend the exhaust here all the way out the back with a new 4-inch exhaust. I've been rocking the side pipe for a while, but it's time to go. So all installed, we're going to take it on the maiden voyage, see how it is. I didn't get it aligned yet. It's only going to be a 1/4 inch difference in height according to the website. So I'm going to let this coil settle in. If it feels funky, if I see the tires wearing weird, I'll get an alignment, but for right now I'm just going to feel it out, see where it goes. Some speed bumps right here in my apartment complex, so that'll be a good test to see how stiff the coils are. Okay. Definitely a little bit more bounce, but I think that's just the suspension itself moving more instead of just duh from the stock coils and blown shocks. Alright, I got a few bumps coming up here. This will be a good test at speed, about 30 miles an hour. There's some patchwork. So where I hope this kit shines is on the, the expansion joints on the highway. Those are some hard hits, so I hope that this smooths them out. Again, this kit is not made for pure off-road. It says on Thuren's website, light off-road duty, and smoothest on-road performance as possible. So that's what we're shooting for. Going over a lot of patches and cracks and bumps right now, and it's taking it pretty well. It's a lot less feedback in the steering wheel, a lot less vibrating of stuff in the cup holders and the dashboard and everything, so it feels good. There's a couple big hits coming up right here. We'll see how it takes it. Not bad. Much more manageable. Before I would launch my butt off the seat almost and rattle the fillings out of my head, and so it's definitely more manageable, much smoother. Alright, so I'm going to close this one out from the truck here. Is the Thuren suspension kit night and day difference with the coils and the King shocks? I'd say no. It's a little bit better. It's maybe 50% better. It smooths everything out. It's not like you're driving in a Cadillac by any means. It's still a full-size 20-year-old diesel truck. I think without doing any heavy modifications as far as geometry and long arms and stuff like that, I think the second gen is what it is. So if you like more content like this, diesel stuff, truck stuff, be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.